commencement exercises for Hampton Bays High School. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rich Berlin, and while I normally teach in the Hampton Bays Elementary School, today I will graciously act as your guide and narrator for the procession that will very soon enter the tent, thus marking the beginning of today's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the hour of 11 o'clock, please note that the processional is beginning to assemble at the entrance to the high school gymnasium, and they will be greeted by the Hand Aldridge Post number 924 of the American Legion Color Guard.
If you come over here, grab but if you stand there, then it don't matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Hand Aldridge Post number 924 Color Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, leading the processional will be the graduation candidates of Hampton Bays High School. With the girls forming on the right and the boys on the left, they will march to the entrance of the tent and then turn to the center line, thus acting as an honor guard for our distinguished guests. Leading the class of 2010 and carrying the school mace is Monica O'Connor, Senior Class President. Leading the men's line on the left is Marcus Shams, the salutatorian of the class of 2010. And leading the women's line on the right is Mariah Ferreira, the valedictorian of the class of 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to the entrance of the tent and introduce you to Joanne Lowenthal, Superintendent of Schools, and Christopher Richard, High School Principal and Master of Ceremonies. Peter Cunningham, our honored guest and commencement speaker. Doug Oakland, President of the Board of Education, and George Lehman, Vice President of the Board of Education. Our other esteemed Board of Education members, Warren Booth and Marie Mulcahy. Our distinguished administrators, Mark Pagano, Director of Student Services, and Denise Lindsay, Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Larry Luce, School Business Administrator, and Drew Walker, Athletic Director. Representing our elementary school, Mark Meyer, Principal, and Dennis Shug, Assistant Principal. And our honored elementary school faculty. Representing our middle school, Lars Clemenson, Principal, and Michael Carlson, Assistant Principal. And our esteemed middle school faculty. Representing our high school, Anthony de Blasio, Assistant Principal, and Rich Iannelli, PM School Director. And our prestigious high school faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, to the familiar refrain of pomp and circumstance, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Hampton Bays High School Class of 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our esteemed high school principal, Mr. Christopher Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Berglund. Please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Christopher Richard, and it has been my honor and privilege to serve as the principal of Hampton Bays High School during the 2009-2010 school year. On behalf of the Board of Education, administration, faculty, staff, our guests, and of course, the class of 2010, I welcome you to the commencement exercises of the Hampton Bays Union Free School District. Ladies and gentlemen, before I continue with the formal program, let me take care of a few housekeeping chores. Refreshments, especially water, are available in the PTSA tents located adjacent to the high school. Restrooms are available at the high school as well, and by New York State law, there is no smoking permitted anywhere on school grounds. We also ask that photographers refrain from blocking the view of others, and we also ask that you please silence all electronic communication devices at this time. I would also like to thank the members of the American Legion Hand Alders Post number 924 Color Guard for joining us as we honor America. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as Samantha Carey, the third-ranking member of the class of 2010, leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Then please remain standing as Abigail Craykar of the class of 2011 sings our national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I hear her. I don't hear you.
Who say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Samantha. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. And once again, a special thanks to the Hand Alders Post Color Guard for being here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment and introduce the men and women seated behind me. Our distinguished guest, Peter Cunningham, the Assistant Secretary of Education for the Office of Communications and Outreach at the Department of Education, under Secretary of Education Duncan and President Obama. Our Superintendent of Schools, Joanne Lowenthal. Members of our Board of Education, Board President Doug Oakland, Vice President George Lehman, and Trustees Warren Booth and Marie Mulcahy. And Board of Education Trustee Chris Garvey, who could not be with us today. We also have members of the school district administration. Mr. Mark Pagano, the Director of Pupil Personnel Services. Denise Lindsay, Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Mr. Lawrence Luce, Director of Business Administration. Our Director of Athletics, Drew Walker. The Director of our Alternative School Program, Mr. Richard Iannelli. Elementary School Principal, Mark Meyer. Elementary School Assistant Principal, Ben Shove. And our very own High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Anthony Blasio. From the middle school principal, Mr. Lars Clemenson. And our middle school assistant principal, Michael Carlson. Seated on the risers are members of the faculty from our three schools. In most cases, these teachers have influenced the learning lives of our graduates since kindergarten, and we are appreciative of their presence here today. I am pleased to introduce to you the faculty members from our three schools. As I ask them to stand, as I call their name, please remain standing until all faculty members have been recognized, and please withhold your applause until then. From our elementary school, Diana Dargan, Denise DeRosa, Barbara Ferrucci, Mary O'Hanlon, and Bonnie Rubin. From the middle school, Kathleen Ambrose, Barbara Bickford, Megan Bishop, Kathleen Callahan, Joan Crowley, Kathy Dayton, Jennifer DiStefano, Deanna Devon, Ruth Dorosky, Tony Daciano, Rich Doulos, Andy Fotopoulos, Brian Garcia, Richard Joslin, Felicia Kutcher, Amanda Heenan, Jennifer Mulvey, Lori O'Halloran, John Pega, Jean Pollin, Rich Solano, and Val Stein. And from the high school, Lori Ackerson, Ed Bauman, Al Brigham, Jill Ross, Michael Carlson, Michael DeRosa, Tara Dietz, Stella Dracos, Christina Piscini, Richard Gostick, Mary Alice Griffin, Jennifer Halsey, who will be directing our dance evening over here to the right. Porfirio Lopez, Katie Niedema, Jessica Mills, Charles Isro, who is seated with our graduates as our class advisor. Tom Little, who is also seated with our graduates, guidance counselor. Michael Ostreicher, who is the Coast Guard Reserve called up to duty in the Gulf of Mexico, cannot be here today. John Perez, Eileen Price, Ms. Rosary Ray, also class advisor, seated with her class. Jacqueline Rossi, Marianne Sharp, Robin Spielman, Robin Sweeney, Nicole Taddeo, and Edith Connie. Ladies and gentlemen, these faculty members have guided these students to this point in time as high school graduates. Please join me and the class of 2010 in a well-deserved round of applause. It is now my pleasure to introduce Monica O'Connor as the president of the class of 2010 and the class of the year.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to begin by thanking the Board of Education, Superintendent Joanne Longfall, Mr. Richard, Mr. de Blasio, and the administration, the faculty and staff for working their hardest as we improve our school district and ultimately our community through their dedication to the students of Hampton Bays. Thank you to the families of each senior for their constant support and the unconditional love and care that they have shown us. In addition, we owe tremendous thanks to our class advisors, Charles Isbro and Rosary Ray, for adopting our classes as their home and for going the extra mile to make our high school years memorable ones. As you may know, Mrs. Ray is also graduating with us this year. And as the president of the class of 2010, I would like to say thank you for 36 years of dedicated service to the Hampton Bays community. Good luck with everything retirement holds for you. We wish you nothing but the best. Now, to the class of 2010. While for most of us, our senior year ended somewhere around the second quarter when senioritis set in, it's closing for real now. In the next hour, we will officially be done with high school. And I think that once the fear subsides, we will begin to reminisce and we will truly be sad that it's over. If there's one thing that I've learned this year, it's the importance of gratitude. High school is an experience that the majority of students take for granted. We don't realize how quickly the world as we know it can flip upside down. And that doesn't only apply to tearing an ACL or breaking a thumb, although that is how I learned my lesson. In an instant, everything can be changed and suddenly beyond our control, but it shouldn't take drastic measures to make us realize how valuable each and every moment of our life is. As seniors graduating and going out to the real world, we need to realize that we now have the responsibility and the power to shape our own lives, the power to make each moment valuable using what we've learned at Hampton Bays High. We've established who we are, what kind of people we want to be, and for some of the bold ones, our goals in life. Just imagine walking into a hospital in a few years and hearing, paging Dr. Shams, Dr. Marcus Shams. Whatever we have decided to do in the coming months, whatever college we go to or job we get, we know that our roots lay here in Hampton Bays, and I hope that you always remember high school. To the things that we've learned, the mistakes and memories we've made, and the relationships that we've established along the way. So enough seriousness. I want to say thank you all so much for making my 4 years as class president the most exciting, hilarious, and interesting version of hell on earth possible. The ideas, the fundraisers, senior concession stands, and of course the class trip, Go Mighty Ducks, farewell games, proms, and of course homecoming and the coming class night 2009 champs will always hold a special place in our hearts. While homecoming fell flat this year, we still had a blast building $617.34 worth of game and Candyland Castle. Now, should the Bowdens got their money's worth, since it did sit in their garage for about 6 months. To any underclassmen in the crowd, do not spend exuberant amounts of money on something that you were just going to throw away. And you never know if Mother Nature might rain on your homecoming parade, so take that into consideration too. The fact is, our seniors are unstoppable. In the words of Lawrence Robertson, we really know how to run it. Class of 2009 was epic, to say the least. While nothing could top the 2007 10th grade high school musical lip sync and Ben and Kat's fake out kiss that sent the crowd into uncontrollable fits of laughter, Reese really did come close. And Sarah Young was not only the sole female in the pie eating contest, but the only one to not cheat, and therefore the winner. Our voices and the seniors chant were so loud that it's still echoing off the ceiling in the gym. As a class, we have given all we can to this school district, for now at least, and we have everything imaginable ahead of us. There is nothing holding us back from taking advantage of every opportunity possible. So I ask that as you accept your diploma today, remember the things you've learned, academically and otherwise. Remember to be yourself, and remember to always follow your heart. Remember that you cannot change the past, that you merely have to accept it. And when all else fails, remember the sound of the waves that crash along the shore, and remember the beautiful place that we call home. Let Hampton-based High School live on forever in our hearts, no matter where our next chapter takes us. And to add a little personal thank you, I'll end with the lyric from For Good in the Broadway show Wicked. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime. So let me say, before we part, so much of me has come from what I've learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. Make every moment count, guys. Congratulations to the Hampton-based senior class of 2009.
Thank you, Monica. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Hampton-based High School salutatorian, Marcus Shams. While Marcus presents his parents with some flowers, I'd like to point out that he's graduating with a grade point average of 104.3. In addition, Marcus will be attending the pre-med program at Northern Arizona University this fall.
Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, I must, you're going to have to forgive me, I'm feeling a little off today. I got food poisoning from prom. Yeah, I had no idea you're not supposed to eat the seafood at an aquarium. Okay. Although I have little experience in public speaking, and neither of my parents are politicians, I was given the daunting task of delivering a speech to all of you. To compensate for the stress, I took a bare aspirin, as it reduces the risk of heart attacks. Now, I understand that's really not funny to some of you adults. I would first like to begin with thank yous to all the parents and family who made it out here today and who have given their support throughout our schooling experience. And thank you to the administration who worked so very hard to make our learning experience more enjoyable. Don't ask me how they made that. They made me put it in here, okay? I'm surrounded by them. And thank you to our superintendent, Joanne Lowenthal, and the members of the Board of Education for their strong leadership. And thank you to all of our teachers over the years who taught us math, science, English, how to read and write, as well as more important things, such as how to procrastinate, conceal a cell phone, and sleep sitting up. A special thanks to Mrs. Griffin, who will be graduating with us. She got held back a few years. And she's also accredited for teaching seniors that you can ace a research paper without ever reading a book. Well guys, congratulations, we finally made it. If you look around you and see all your friends, know that although graduation marks a point where we are going off on our own, it also marks a point to remember all the great memories that we shared together. We've all gone through life together up to this point, and I ask that we never forget Hampton-based high school, and that we cherish all the memories that we have experienced here. Regarding the future, I wish you all the best of luck. Every one of us has their passions and talents, and if cared for, these things that we love can grow into successful careers and comfortable lifestyles. It's important that from this point on, we build lives that will make us happy. Don't fall into the trap that wealth will lead you to happiness. It's in fact the other way around. If you're happy, all the wealth the world has to offer will come to you. By working hard and being optimistic, we can make our dreams into realities. Don't live down to expectations. Go out there and do something remarkable. It's unacceptable for us to let others discourage us from reaching our goals. There may come a time when our parents and peers point us away from our dreams, and there may be times when society urges us to conform. But during these times, we must remember that all of us are the leaders of our own lives. We can follow the paths of others in life, or we can choose to venture off and make our own. The choice is ours to make. The brightest minds history has ever seen were those who challenged the status quo, those who stepped outside of the box, and those who, against all odds, achieved what others said couldn't be achieved. We cannot just wait for doors to open and opportunities to come our way. We need to kick down some doors and make our own opportunities. Remember that success isn't a result of spontaneous combustion. You must set yourself on fire first. Figuratively speaking. No incidents, okay? Well, it's about that time I hand the mic back over to the man, aka Big Brother. But before I go, I'd like to say that personally I'm grateful to have gone to this school, to have been a part of this community, and to have been in the presence of my peers who have been so very kind throughout my time living here. With that being said, I congratulate the Hampton-based class of 2010. Remember that tomorrow belongs to us. Thank you.
For anyone interested, we can catch Marcus' comedy special on HBO next month. Most of the jokes are at my expense, but that's quite okay. Marcus, we ask you please accept this trophy in recognition of your academic achievement as salutatorian of the class of 2010. It is now my distinct pleasure to present the valedictorian of the Hampton-based class of 2010, Mariah Ferreira. Mariah is graduating with a grade point average of 106.3. She delivers flowers to her parents. I would like to point out that she will be attending the State University of New York at Portland this fall.
That's impossible. Good morning. I would like to start by welcoming the Board of Education, Mrs. Lowenthal, our superintendent, the teachers, faculty, Mr. Ashard, Mr. de Blasio, and the rest of the administration, and all the parents and guests present here today. Thank you for coming to help the class of 2010 celebrate our commencement and the start of the rest of our lives. I want to let you know first that I was made to study the speech around me a little more than I'd like to. By the way, does anybody know what valedictorian means? Anyone? You wouldn't believe how many times I was asked this question, but I suppose that it's fitting that I was the one asked. Literally speaking,
The valedictorian is the student with the highest weighted average every year in the graduating class. Also, literally speaking, it's a term for the student who, more than anyone else, had no life throughout high school, stayed up until all hours of the night doing homework that might not have been due the next day, pursued social interactions, had no internet account for 4 years, rewrote 99% of the papers that could be fixed, including the ones that were high 90s, and stressed entirely too much about everything. If you couldn't tell, I'm still stressing. So, yeah, that's pretty much me. And this is what I get for it. Another assignment complete. My problem is that I complain about having to do something for 2 months, stress about it for about 2 weeks, write it in 2 days, and only have to speak it for 2 minutes. Don't procrastinate, guys. It's not a good feeling, and you only hurt yourself. Believe me. The valedictory title is at the same time a great honor and accomplishment. If I could give all the students here one bit of academic advice, it would be to do your homework. Most of the, quote, geniuses of this world aren't born that way. It's mostly just a lot of hard work. I know that every graduating senior present today has a lot of potential, which I hope to see put to good use in the coming years. Good use doesn't always mean college either. Start a business, protect your country, clean up the Gulf, make the world a more just place, or find work that you love and make the rest of us proud. We all have unique talents and abilities, so let's draw on what we're good at to make the world a better place. Above all, be good and love others as you love yourself. While you prepare to start building your future, don't forget to thank those who have been there for you and have encouraged you to believe in yourself and make it through your life up till now. Chances are they will be the ones who will still be there for you when you need someone. Thank the people who had a positive influence on your life. God has given me my family and friends and talents, so of course he's at the top of my list. I can honestly say I would not have survived high school without him, and I definitely wouldn't be standing here talking to you. For most of us, our families have been there since before we remember, so maybe we need to try to start remembering them more. They have done everything from teaching us to talk to teaching us when not to talk, and so much more. Our friends have been there for us when we couldn't handle life alone. We've cried, hugged, listened, talked, empathized, and built bonds that are going to be hard to leave. I know that I owe my friends my happiness and possibly my life many times over. Don't let friendships end with the goodbyes at the end of the summer. Keep in touch, and don't let a day go by where you're lonely but too proud to phone a friend. Having said that, I'll let you know that the first person to post a video of this to Facebook will be the first one I delete from my friends list. And I'm not kidding. Last but not least is our teachers. They've increased our knowledge and helped to build our character. The best have given us a good moral basis, and many don't even fall into the teacher category because they're already included under our friends. So thank your teachers for preparing you for real life. Not that high school isn't real life, but realer life. I believe that you are capable of great things in the future, and even now in the present. Whatever you decide to do with your life, make sure you keep a clean conscience, get enough sleep, and do your best in what you set out to do. If you can do this, you'll be successful no matter what career you choose or how much you get paid. Remember that success is not something that can be measured in dollars, and life is a gift that you only get to open once. Good luck, live right, and have a great summer. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you, Mariah. To commemorate this occasion and your academic achievements, we ask for you to receive this trophy. Thank you. Since coming to Hampton Bays, I've been impressed with the wide range of musical talents that many of our students possess. As an example of that talent, it is now my pleasure to present to you Caitlin Arenz, Meredith Donnan, and Mariah Ferreira, who will perform Breakaway.
dreaming of a good thing, and if I end up happy, I would pray. Trying not to reach out, but when I tried to speak out, felt like no one could hear me. Wanted to belong here, but something felt so wrong here, so I pray I could break away. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. Take a risk, take a chance, take a change, and break away. Out of the darkness and into the sun, but I won't forget all the ones that I love. Take a risk, take a chance, take a change, and break away. Da-da-da-dee-da-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da, da-da-da-dee-da-da-da-da. Wanna feel the warm breeze, sleep under a palm tree, feel the rush of the ocean. Get on board a fast train, travel on a jet plane far away, and break away. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. I'll do what it takes till I touch the sky. Take a risk, take a chance, make a change, and break away. Out of the darkness and into the sun, but I won't forget all the ones that I love. Take a risk, take a chance, take a change, and break away. Little things with 100 voice, swinging out with rolling doors. Maybe I don't know where they'll take me, but gotta keep on moving on, moving on. Fly away, break away. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn how to fly. Though it's not easy to tell you goodbye. Take a risk, take a chance, take a change, and break away. Out of the darkness and into the sun, I won't forget the place I come from. Take a risk, take a chance, take a change, and break away. Break away. Break away.
Thank you, ladies. Yet another example of the talent of the class of 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I would like to introduce our superintendent of schools, Joanne Lowenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Bouchard. And good morning, Hampton Bays. Good morning to some of my favorite Bay men and some of my favorite Bay women. You know, we've been working on this ceremony for days, weeks, months, and typically we refer to it as graduation, graduating tomorrow. But in fact, the title on the pamphlet that we're all using to keep ourselves cool says commencement. And I know that all of you know that today is the beginning. And it's a beginning for Mrs. Ray, Mrs. Griffin, Mr. Joslin, the other staff members up here who will be graduating on to the next phase of their lives. It's a commencement for your parents who will need to learn how that transition happens between you as high schoolers and you as young adults going off to a whole variety of places afterwards. And it's certainly a commencement for you, recognizing the 13 years of work that you've put in, either to this school district or this school district in combination with others. So today's your beginning as well. You know that what we've been about in Hampton Bays for the last several years has involved tradition. We've tried to set some new traditions, some culture. We've tried to build on the rich cultural history that we have here and go further, and symbolism. And there's a tremendous amount of symbolism in today's commencement exercises. What we're wearing is extremely symbolic and goes way back to the Middle Ages. One of the pieces of symbolism that we did not have until a couple of years ago is called the mace. And this, if you did not see, at the beginning of the program, Monica, I believe, brought it in. The mace, in fact, is something that you might have recognized at the beginning of any college or university commencement ceremony that you might have been to. In fact, the mace is symbolic of the authority of the Board of Education and the Superintendent of Schools in order to run a university, a college, a school district like Hampton Bays. And a couple of years ago, the big brother of one of the graduates today was the salutatorian, and his dad, Dr. Bruce King, presented the school district with our first ever traditional mace. Thank you again, Dr. King. We in fact reuse it. So, while at most graduation ceremonies, it comes up in the hands of the class president, and it rests here so that everyone knows the board is in order, the meeting has begun. Today, the mace has a different symbolism, because as you might know, and I know you do know, I am also graduating. And Mr. Clemenson is graduating. He finally made it through middle school Thursday night. And in the turning over of this symbol of the school district's authority, I will give Mr. Clemenson all of the joy and the pride that I feel and have felt here, and he will take Hampton Bays schools to a whole new level, and I am just thrilled for doing that. We had the opportunity to talk to Peter Cunningham, who you will hear from in a little while, about what's going on in Washington, D.C. And he used words like competition is important, high standards, which this board certainly keeps all of us to, you guys and us, and transparency, making sure that the community knows what we're doing with the taxpayers' dollars, how we're using that money, whether it's for a good purpose for your educations. All of those things Lars Clemenson stands for. Lars Clemenson stands for the world beyond Hampton Bays also. And as one of his first duties as the incoming superintendent of schools, he's going to introduce our commencement speaker, our honored guest, and you will get a flavor of what we will hear and see from Lars over the next couple of years. Lars, it is my joy and my pleasure to hand you the authority of the Hampton Bays School District.
Thank you. I will join those who have spoken before me in welcoming our special guests and congratulating this fantastic class of 2010. When I first came to Hampton Bays, when I first came back to Hampton Bays 4 years ago to lead our new middle school, this class, ladies and gentlemen, you were just freshmen. And I didn't have the opportunity to work much with you, but I did get to know you and all of those things Monica talked about. Class nights, Disney World, Busch Gardens, plays, proms, trips, homecomings. And as I sit here today and I listen to Mariah and Monica and Marcus, and I look at all that you've accomplished and all that we are about to celebrate that you'll accomplish, I can't help but be thankful that my students in the middle school have each of you to look up to for the 4 years I've been here. So thank you for the mark you've made in Hampton Bays, and congratulations on your special day. Lowenthal, as I proudly accept this mace, the truest symbol of an educational institution, I'm struck by the importance of this day and moment. This simple gesture, the passing of a really nice piece of wood from one robed person to another on a warm June day, symbolizes much more than that. It symbolizes the stable and positive transfer of leadership in our school district. Superintendent Lowenthal, members of the Board of Education, Hampton Bays community members, and friends, I accept this mace humbly, and I understand and embrace the great responsibility of leading the Hampton Bays schools. I also accept this mace with deep gratitude to Joanne Lowenthal. I will honor the work that you have done in Hampton Bays to make us a place and a school that offer young people great opportunity to reach their unlimited potential, and to make Hampton Bays a school district that expects, demands, and delivers educational excellence. To Superintendent Lowenthal, thank you for your years of service to public education, and thank you for spending the last 7 with us. I hope you know the work that you've started and the progress we've made in your time is a foundation upon which we'll continue to build. To the Hampton Bays community, thank you for bestowing your trust and support upon me as we enter the next chapter of the Hampton Bays school history. We celebrate a fantastic accomplishment today, the culmination of 13 years of education in Hampton Bays, and you've seen some of your teachers in first and second grade here as well. For you students, your time as a Hampton Bays student comes to an end. For me, my time as superintendent begins, but for both of us, our time being Baymen and Baywen endures, and I'm grateful to share that association with you. In that spirit, the same excitement we celebrate here today in Hampton Bays is a culture change beginning to sweep across the United States. In 2008, President Obama was elected to serve after a campaign in which he promised to work for change. And as you know, when you turn the news on, our society and our country needs change still today. But one of those areas most dear to our president and to us under this tent today is our education system. In appointing Arnie Duncan as Education Secretary, President Obama ensured that this Department of Education will become the most active and progressive Department of Education in our nation's history. The Education Department has prioritized accountability, opportunity, and leadership as characteristics in which to achieve excellence in every school. And thankfully, they are relentless in their pursuit to hold us accountable to make sure that happens in every classroom. So today we have an honored guest who represents that culture of achievement and desire for continued improvement. Today's guest, our 2010 commencement speaker, represents the progress that we make as students, as teachers and administrators, and as a community, every day in pursuit of that educational excellence. First appointed by President Obama in January 2009, Assistant Secretary of Education Peter Cunningham came to Washington to run the department's Office of Communications and Outreach. This responsibility is a critical one, as Secretary Cunningham works to get the message out and coordinate efforts with state and local school districts in their pursuit of strong schools. Mr. Cunningham, thankfully, is a New Yorker who came to Washington, D.C. by way of Illinois, where he served with Secretary Duncan in the Chicago Public Schools. He comes back to New York today to our community on behalf of the Department of Education to recognize the excellence that you strive for, graduates, that our school district strives for, and also to represent Secretary Duncan in his pursuit for strong schools, strong students, and strong communities. We are so lucky to have such an honored guest with us. And at this time, please help me welcome to the microphone the United States Assistant Secretary of Education, Peter Cunningham.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Superintendent Clemens. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Like the sound of that? Oh, I kind of like it myself. You should know that Lars and I are related. I've known him since he was born. I have a long history out here in the East End. I spent virtually every summer of my life here, which of course makes me one of those dreaded summer people. Clogging up the roads, driving up the prices, and just kind of being a big pain in the neck. However, I also spent 2.5 years here writing to the Southampton Press, so I hope at the very least I am an honorary local. It was, to this day, remains my favorite job, even though, of course, I have a great job today that I enjoy very much. It's very challenging. Let me start by just congratulating the students who are here today on behalf of the President and on behalf of Secretary of Education Arnie Duncan. Today is a great, great victory for you. It's a huge moment in your life. It means a lot. It means a lot not just to you, it means a lot to the country. The President has said, when you drop out of high school, you're not just putting on yourself, you're putting on your country. And you guys didn't quit. So give yourself a big hand. Now today is also a victory for your families, because they had a little something to do with you being here today. And it's a victory for your community, because you're all a product, not just of your family, but also of your community. You guys are from Hampton Bays. That's who you are. It's your identity. So this is a victory for all of us, and it's, as I said, it's also a victory for America, because the President set a goal when he came into office, not unlike John F. Kennedy's goal when he became president. Kennedy said he wanted to get a man on the moon by the end of the decade. It became his moonshot. President Obama said that he wants to have the most educated workforce in the world by the end of this decade. So he's counting on you to help him meet that goal. And I don't need to tell you that the next 4 years of your life, the next 6 years of your life, they're going to be tough. There are going to be times when you're going to want to quit. It's not always easy to get through college. An awful lot of people don't do it. But look around, look at each other, and promise yourselves that you won't give up. Promise yourselves that when you start losing that energy and that ability to keep up, that you'll turn to each other, and you'll help each other, and you'll make it. I know you can make it. I'm going to talk to you briefly about the point of education. I want to start a little story that I read from a writer named David Foster Wallace. Beautiful little story. He talked about two little fish were swimming through the water, young fish, and older fish swims by and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" And the fish keeps swimming on, and one of them finally turns to the other and says, "What the heck is water?" I mention this to say that quite often you don't quite even know what you have and what it is around you. You may not know that you have the most beautiful beaches in the world because you take them for granted they're yours. But I can tell you I've been to beaches all over the world, and these ones are the best. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. You also don't know what that education has done for you. You don't even realize the teamwork that you learned on the basketball court will serve you in 100 other ways that you can't even imagine. You don't know that the discipline that it took to be in that musical group over there, the practice it took, will serve you in many, many other ways. You don't know that the creativity that you learn through the arts and the sciences and the persistence and the inquiry, the ability to inquire, how that will serve you. But it will serve you. You have something. You have a lot more than you know. And the point of Wallace's story was that the purpose of an education is for you to control what happens between your ears. You are now the master of that little computer between your ears. And it's up to you to make the choices, the right choices, with that incredible gift that you have. That gift that came from your parents, came from your community, and came from your school, and from these dedicated teachers up here who have devoted so much of their time and energy to get you to this spot. So you have to make the most of it. You have to make the right choices, and you'll face a lot of choices in the coming years. That's what college is really about. You start to make decisions for yourself if you haven't already. And if people ask you today at the barbecue what you're going to do with it, it's okay if you don't have a great answer. A lot of people don't know what they're going to do when they graduate from high school. A lot of people don't know what they're going to do when they're 52 years old, like me. But the point is you got to keep asking the question. You got to keep challenging yourself to find it. If I have one piece of advice for all of you, it's this. You have to find something you're passionate about. And I went to that great source of information that tells you everything you need to know, even if you don't know if it's true. The internet. Where I found statistics that said, and of course, how could anybody attribute anything to this? 3/4 of the people never find their passion. I thought, that's bad news. We gotta do better than that. You guys have to find your passion. You gotta find what makes you get up in the morning. You gotta find something that you do, whether you got paid or not. For me, it was music. I'm a musician. And I haven't gotten paid very much, I'll tell you. So, I won't trouble you by playing a song for you, but it's the thing that I love more than anything. And it's sustained me. It's given me a reason to get up. It made high school exciting when some of the subjects that I didn't like so much were boring me. And it kept me going through college, and it's kept me going through life. I passed it on to my children. They have it now, and I know that's what helps them get through. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about what you're passionate about. Where are the jocks in the class? Who are the jocks? Raise your hands. Huh? One guy? You got one jock in the whole school? All right. All right, where are the poets? Any poets here? No poets? There you go. He's going to use that poetry as his bedside manner. He's got the bad news to deliver. He says, I got a little poem for you. So the point is you have to find something. You got to find that one thing that makes you get up every morning and say, I want to live, I want to do it, I want to work hard, I want to keep going, I want to make something. The President spoke recently at graduation, and his one message to the kids was, of course, give back. And that's not a new message. Probably 9 out of 10 graduation commencement speakers tell you that. But it's not so hard to envision how you do that. It's right here in your community. This is your family now. You're a role model. You're more than just a graduate. You're a leader. There are kids behind you younger than you. And they're all looking up to you. And they all want to be like you already. So you've already got that. So you got to give that back to them. And make sure that they get to this stage as well. And get to the next stage. We're counting on you. We're counting on your generation. We're counting on you guys to solve the problems we can't solve. Anybody know here? Anybody here know how to plug an oil leak? No? If you do, come talk to me after this, okay? But there's just a lot of things you have to do that I'm not sure our generation's going to figure out. I don't know whether we'll figure out how to solve the energy needs for the future. I don't know that we'll figure out how to cure for cancer. I don't know that we'll figure out a lot of things we need to do as a society. How to make sure that everybody, every single person has an opportunity, has this opportunity to go on to college. I'm thrilled that 80% of you are going on to college. Those of you who aren't, you need to go on to something that will get you into a college and a career. As the superintendent said, we're trying to challenge school districts all across America to reach higher and higher standards, to make more of what they have. It's not good enough just to get to this stage. You got to go to the next one. And I know as I look out here today, as I look at the parents, as I look at this community, as I look at the leadership of this school system, I know that there's nothing you can't do. I know you've got it in you, and we're counting on you to get there. Congratulations and good luck.
On behalf of the Hampton Bay School community, I want to say thank you for being here today and bringing honor to the ceremony in our school community. And we ask that you accept this plaque. It's making a difference. Hampton Bay School District Commencement Speaker Peter Cunningham, June 26, 2010. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that Mr. Oakland, our board president, come forward for a special presentation at this time.
Thank you, Principal Mr. Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure as the Board of Education President to ask our graduating member of our board, Marie Mulcahy, to join me at the podium. Marie Mulcahy, for the last 10 years, has been a force on our Board of Education. She has worked for the construction of our New Hampton Bays Middle School, the development of our PM school, the growth of our special education programs, and countless other aspects of our schools. Today, our school district is among the finest in the East End of Long Island, as exemplified by our graduating class of 2010. Marie, as I present you with this token of our feelings and appreciation, I thank you and our community thanks you.
Thank you so much. My greatest achievement, though, was electing Joanne Lowenthal as our superintendent. Our school is respected on Long Island. They talk about us. They talk about our standards and our qualities, and we are so proud of all of you. I'm a retired teacher, but you never stop. So I wish you the best. Life is wonderful. Each day is a challenge. God bless you.
Marie, thank you so much. Before I go, I'm going to ask my Vice President, George Lehman, to step up just for 1 second. 11-year Board of Education. George, come on up.
Thank you, graduates and parents. I'll be very brief just for a minute. We would like to take this opportunity to, as you realize that Joanne is retiring this year after 7 years of service for us. She has impacted our lives in big ways and small ways. Big ways in terms of increasing academic achievement, our graduation rates. The small ways would be, you can look at our celebration day for our commencement. Years ago, before Joanne, we used to have this exercise out on the football field without a tent. So think about how hot and how uncomfortable it would be if we were there today. So please join me and my fellow board members, both past and present, and give Joanne a round of applause for her hard work and service.
Thank you, Mr. Oakland and Mr. Lehman. And I do thank Ms. Mulcahy for your dedication and support of our schools and our students. We have one more special presentation. I'm sorry, Mrs. Lowenthal, one more time. I would like to invite the President of the Student Council, Ryan Walker, to the podium.
On behalf of the class of 2010, the faculty and staff, the Board of Education, and the administrators, I would like to give this plaque to Mrs. Lowenthal for her 7 years of dedicated service to everything in Hampton Bays, from academics to athletics.
I was kidding with one of my board members the other night at the 8th grade that this feels like the longest goodbye. But my husband and I and our family came here 7 years ago, and we didn't realize what a gift you would be giving us as a family. And we do plan to stay, and I really look forward to my role as a member of this community and hopefully being neighbors to many of you out here in the audience and contributing in that way. And Ryan, I love the fact that this came from the students. I've loved everything that people have recognized me for, but the students, your handprints will be on my heart. Thank you all.
All right, graduates, everyone ready for the last speech? Yeah? All right. It belongs to me, so. This is a very proud moment for me, so I just ask you to just give me a few minutes and indulge me. The class of 2010 is a special collection of young men and women. The members of this class have answered the academic challenge, demonstrated incredible talent on our stages and determination on our athletic fields, and have committed countless hours to community service during their years in high school. The students seated before you have earned nearly $500,000 in scholarships and financial awards, and will be attending some of the finest colleges and universities in the nation, including Northeastern, Penn State, Lehigh, Fordham, Northern Arizona, and nearly every SUNY in the state. Among the candidates for graduation, we have some very special accomplishments and future plans. Seated before you are 23 members of the National Honor Society. An impressive 52 members of this class will graduate with either an Advanced Regents or an Advanced Regents Diploma with honors. 3 of our graduates will proudly serve in the armed forces. Our valedictorian, Mariah, has achieved a weighted grade point average of 106.3, which I mentioned earlier, which was the highest in my 14-year career in education, and as far as I can tell, Hampton-Bays High School. Julia King learned to fly, literally. She flew a plane by herself. In fact, I recently learned that she earned her pilot's license before her driver's license. 5 of our graduates were members of the Suffolk County Class C Championship varsity volleyball team, also a scholar athlete team with a collective average of 90 or higher. So as our graduates move on to college and career, I'm sure they'll find success in all their future endeavors. So please indulge me for a few more moments as I reflect on the class of 2010. They have demonstrated exceptional creativity. It is this creativity that produced a 6-foot guillotine and a potato cannon to prove scientific theories in AP physics from Mr. Bauman. Perhaps even more creative were the sales pitches I received from Morgan and Nolan on the safety of these projects for educational use. I've observed members of this class work effectively as a team, and as Monica mentioned earlier, I can find no better evidence than the Mighty Ducks' victory during the senior class Winter Olympics. And of course, the class of 2010 has demonstrated an exceptional sense of humor. Ben, I see you laughing back there right now. I must take a moment to actually thank Ben Tarpey for this segment of the speech, as your performance of My Girl with Mrs. Ray at Woodlock Pines easily makes your top 10 funniest moments list, and that's not an easy feat. Reflecting on a successful school year makes speech writing fun for any proud principal, but before you receive your diplomas, I ask that you give careful consideration to a few words of advice. First, enter the next phase of your education with an open mind. When my brother and I graduated high school, cellular phones couldn't fit in your pockets but were carried in luggage. Now he works for Google developing applications for Android phones. The point is that many of you will be preparing for jobs and careers that have not yet been realized. Before you have a mortgage and some of the other fun responsibilities of adult life, I urge that you take some risks. Change majors, jobs, places to live, and general direction. All these things at a minimum will tell you what you won't want to do with the rest of your life. This collection of experiences will help you find your passion. And as Mr. Cunningham mentioned earlier, I sincerely hope that some of you find a passion in plugging deep-sea oil leaks. Have fun. Life is meant to be enjoyed. You have worked hard and deserve the honor of today's ceremony. I look forward to sharing your future success and believe that every graduate seated in this sea of caps and gowns is ready for the challenge of life. Congratulations to the class of 2010.